social media channels do you spend time on every week? Because if you're having to even think about this answer, then the answer is probably too many. As a business owner, it's so tempting to think that you should be on almost every single social media channel. After all, isn't that what all the top creators do? I mean, don't you need some kind of omnipresence to be able to get your brand out there and increase awareness? And isn't that part of the marketing strategy, to have a different strategy for every single channel? Well, this video covers the top social media channels for entrepreneurs in 2025 and goes through what type of businesses should really be on each channel. So content creation and social media can be an absolute time suck. Now, as a business owner, you are probably doing a million different jobs already. And so many business owners I speak to feel like they are also full-time content creators. And they feel like they have to be, because that's where you get business. That's how you bring awareness about your business. Like, where else are you supposed to find new customers? So it becomes really difficult for business owners to develop a content marketing strategy that works, because it's so time consuming. So therefore, I want to focus on social media to start with, and I want to talk about where you should be spending your time. Unless you have a big team to help you, which is what these top creators do. So when you see that these top creators are on every single social media channel, like you open up your phone and no matter what app you see these guys in front of you, that's because they've got a team working across the board through the night, around the clock, and all over the world to create this content. And most people who are watching this video won't have the luxury to do that. I certainly don't. I'm lucky enough to have a couple of people helping me, but I still don't have that ability to be able to be on all the platforms all the time. So therefore, what I would recommend is that you concentrate on just one or two platforms to start with, master those, and then learn how to diversify after that. Because if you try to put yourself on everything, you'll spread yourself too thin and the quality will be poor. So concentrate on just one or two platforms. For example, for myself, I am now concentrating on YouTube, which is this, and I have also always been concentrating on LinkedIn. So they're my main two platforms, and I would dabble in and out the others just to see what's going on. But for me, those are the main two focuses at the moment, and I'm going to be concentrating on those. And once I can see what content does well on those, then I can start thinking about diversifying to other platforms. Because every single person, every business is very, very different. So just because I've chosen LinkedIn and YouTube does not mean that you should. Now, there are going to be gurus out there who are going to say that every one of their platforms that they use and they sell their services are obviously the best for your business. But you have to understand where your clients lie, because you shouldn't just be thinking about what platform you enjoy the most. You have to think, where are your clients showing up, and therefore put yourself out there on those platforms in front of your potential clients. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down some of the top social media channels that entrepreneurs should be on. And I can't cover all of them because I swear that there's a new social media channel opening up every single week these days. So I'm not going to cover all of them, but I'm going to cover the top ones that my members use and all of my entrepreneurial network use, and what gets the best results. So I'm going to cover each one individually and give a bit of strategy about who should be on them and how you should use them to get the best results. So the first platform I'm going to mention is LinkedIn. Now, this should be the obvious starting point, because LinkedIn is supposedly the only professional platform. Now, it started off obviously to get jobs, but now it's all about content, thought leadership, and, you know, marketing your own personal brand, so to speak. The reason why I concentrate on LinkedIn is just because at the beginning, when I first started my LinkedIn journey, which is probably about 5 years ago now, it was the only place that you could really write professional content. Now, I like to write long form content, write out my thoughts, write out my opinions on different topics in my industry, and it was a great place to facilitate good discussion. Now, that's really what LinkedIn should be about. Now, LinkedIn has got a bit of a bad rap recently because there's a lot of, let's say, playing the game. There's a lot of manipulation of the algorithm. There's templates being churned around. People all kind of using each other's accounts to boost their own accounts, and there's a lot of engagement pods going on. So you'll see that some creators are going viral on every single post, and their content isn't even good quality, and they're basically manipulating the algorithm to make it look like they're really popular in order to gain some views and followers and then sell their courses and services afterwards. And people are just getting a bit fed up. But I still think that LinkedIn is the best platform to build your brand. And I think that no matter what business you're in, I think there is a place for you on LinkedIn. Now, the problem is you're going to get distracted by all this stuff. And what I would say, the first thing to do if you're going to start your journey on LinkedIn is to ignore all of that. Don't be like, oh my God, why is that person going viral all the time and they've got poor content? Realize it's all faked. First thing to know before you even start is like, so much of that is faked, ignore it. It's so easy to get distracted by it and to think, oh my God, they're getting all these results. They're not. On the outside, they're getting results. On the inside, they're not. They're not actually making any money. They're just getting vanity metrics. And that's not what you care about. You care about actually building a real brand and actually making money for your business. So ignore all that. The reasons why LinkedIn is fabulous is because you can create a company. So on your company page, you can write official updates on your company, make it more professional, do things as the company brand would do and come across, like updates, news, all that sort of stuff. And it goes out to all of your followers. And you can then combine that with your personal page, and you can share things from your company page, but your personal one could be a little bit more personal. Talks about you, how you run your business, and you could get really into it. And I think people really like to have these conversations. And it's where I share all of my learnings. I put these YouTube videos on there, and I just kind of talk about how I run my business each day. And actually, it's helped me find some really, really great people. So for me, if LinkedIn's done well, you can utilize that very, very well. It also has the ability to have newsletters. And I think for me, the newsletters have been able to grow on LinkedIn so quickly because an email newsletter takes so much time to build up. But with the LinkedIn newsletter, you can create a newsletter and it goes out to all of your followers instantly. So you can create that newsletter that you might use on your email anyway, or your Substack, and you can repurpose that on LinkedIn and actually reach so many more people. So for me, LinkedIn is the #1 place that you should be starting. But I want you to remember the advice of ignoring all the other bullshit that happens on LinkedIn, because there is a lot of it. And if you want to follow me, I do a bullshit of the week. So I expose all the bullshit every single week so you can realize what's going on and you can concentrate on your own marketing strategy to help you focus on actually getting good results. So next I want to talk about Facebook. Although Facebook has lost a bit of its credibility, I'd say, not just because of Zuckerberg and whatever people's opinion of it, but I'd say because it's more of a social platform, and I feel like you get a lot more different characters on there. But Facebook can be used for certain businesses and done really, really well. I think it's the original place for where you build communities. Like Facebook groups were so amazing because they were free for a start, which is the biggest thing. And you could actually build up a genuine community on your Facebook group. Now there are other platforms with communities on it and everyone seems to have a community. But Facebook groups were the original place, and there are a lot of people who still run it there. And I think that if you do want to build up an active Facebook community, you can do. And I think one of the best types of businesses to be on Facebook is ones with a physical location. I think that they are still done really, really well, and their Facebook page will have like the physical location and be able to showcase all those different things. And bear in mind, all types of people are on Facebook. Like there are people who are just doing social things, and you know, people who are professional on there. So there is a mixed bag of people, and there's a lot of, because obviously it's part of the Meta suite, a lot of Instagram content gets filtered through. So if you have good Instagram content and you want to build a physical location, I think it's great for B2C businesses with a physical location. I think they are the ones that tend to do really well on Facebook. Some people have also said that Facebook ads are doing really well for themselves in B2B. I personally haven't noticed it with my clients. I would say B2C and physical location for me is where Facebook is at. Otherwise, I would direct more of my attention elsewhere before going to Facebook. YouTube. Wow. I obviously think YouTube's important because here I am. Here I am dedicating so much of my time and energy into this new YouTube channel where I currently have, at time of recording, 67 subscribers. Now, so many people would be like, why are you making this much effort when you're not even getting that many people watching your videos? Now, again, that's all coming down to vanity metrics. I don't care about the number of people, I care about the quality of people and what people take away from it. As I mentioned in one of the other videos, I managed to land a £15,000 client from just 29 views on my video. And I had 51 subscribers at the time, and actually, no, I had 49 subscribers at the time because I remember thinking it was less than 50. So I had 49 subscribers and only 29 people had viewed that video, and one of them happened to reach out to me and it was a 15 grand workshop that they wanted. So it shows you that the numbers aren't important, it's the quality of the videos and the quality of the people. Now, why have I decided to concentrate on YouTube this year? Because I think video content is the way forward. All the platforms are now going towards video. Obviously, TikTok's already always been video. Instagram pushed out their seriousness on Reels several years ago as well, and they're constantly focusing on it. LinkedIn have even got now a dedicated video tab. So if all of these platforms are really focusing on video, I believe that video is the way forward. And if you're going to start somewhere, YouTube is got to be the way place to start with videos. So I am doing these YouTube videos, and then I am going to chop up these videos and put them on other platforms to see how the content relates on other platforms. And then I can see which content people relate to and how I need to tweak it for those individual platforms, because I don't think it's a good strategy to just take the same content on one platform and repurpose it directly on other platforms, because people want different things and people are there for different reasons on different platforms. So your content won't always directly translate onto those platforms, but it is a good way to test to see what they do want and be able to tweak it. So for me, I think YouTube is a great starting ground if you want to make good quality videos. I also think long form content is the way forward. It's harder to make, and I think that it's obviously a lot more effort and time consuming, but I think it's a way that you build bigger bonds with your audience. So for me, I'm doing this because I think that I've always want to build real relationships. That's what I do with knobs. I'm always trying to create this big community where I am having long-term real relationships. And I think you can't really do that if you're doing short form content, because people don't really get to know you. But after sitting down with me, listening to these videos and actually consuming hours of my content, you probably really get to know me. And then I get to know my audience because they're constantly engaging with me on this video content. So for me, this is why I do this. And I think that YouTube is definitely worth an investment if you're going to start anywhere with video. And perhaps you can start with a podcast. You don't have to do something like this. You can start like vlogging. You can start just showing BTS around your business and everything like that. There are so many different ideas, but I think you need to start. But I think with YouTube, the hardest thing is staying consistent. Now, you're watching this and this is week 7, I believe, of my consistency. And I've been really trying to stay consistent with it. It's hard. It's a lot of effort, but I believe that after a long time, it will pay off. And like I said, I've only got 67 subscribers right now, but you never know. By the time you watch this video, I could be having 3 figures or 4 figures, depending on when you're watching it. So I believe that if you keep going, it will pay off, but YouTube is a long-term dedication, as everything in business should be. So if you're willing to take a chance on yourself, then you should be able to invest in this too. So let's talk about Instagram, because I think that Instagram is often seen as more of a social channel in terms of, like, you know, you're showing off your holidays, your family, your personal life and all that kind of stuff. But Instagram is also great for promoting your business. And I think that there's one thing that Instagram does that is unrivaled on any other platform, and that is the ability to link your shop to Instagram. Instagram shopping is incredible. So if you have a product of anything, you absolutely need to be on Instagram. So for example, e-commerce businesses or anyone with a physical product, you can showcase your products on your stories, on your reels, on any graphics, and just have beautiful aesthetics and link them directly so people can directly check out via Instagram. And I think that that is seamless on Instagram compared to any other platform. So I would highly recommend it. But for those who don't necessarily have products, it's still great for you to put your stuff out there. I think anyone with an aesthetic business, so I think people like who do fitness and health, cook food and that sort of stuff, travel, they all do really well. But also fashion, creative and marketing, these industries also do really well on Instagram. For example, you don't have to be a salesy on Instagram. You could actually show, you know, what you do and maybe use it as a portfolio and then have another platform that you use to sell. So you can also mix and match your strategy. So remember, you don't have to put everything through Instagram. So let's talk about X or Twitter, however you want to say it. I find it weird calling it X, so that's why I still say Twitter sometimes. So I might interchange it in this video, but we all know what we're talking about, that platform that Elon Musk bought. I think that a lot of people see it as this angry platform. There's a lot of hate spread because he's encouraging free speech, whatever that means, on that platform. And so it's politically fueled, lots of craziness, and this is what people see. But there are people who have built up their entire business via X. Now, take Sahil Bloom. He is a very popular entrepreneur creator, and he's now a New York Times best-selling author. And he built his entire brand via Twitter. He was tweeting every single day, and he now has 1 million followers on Twitter. So if you have a lot of thoughts that you've got, you can actually create these Twitter threads and actually constantly put content out, and it's a great place to just churn out really quick content all the time. We've not established a Twitter strategy yet because we're concentrating on other platforms, but I can see how it can be really beneficial to lots of different industries. But I'd say that it wouldn't be a platform I'd pick the first to use, but I think for certain industries it could be. So if you're in a news industry, sports, travel, non-profits, these are the ones that do really well on Twitter, and I think that you can start to have your starting strategy on this platform. Let's talk about TikTok, because it's still seen as an unprofessional platform, and it's supposedly got loads of teenagers on it just dancing. But more and more businesses are starting to use TikTok, and actually lots of businesses have actually developed because of TikTok. So again, if you've got a product, TikTok Shop is great, and you can actually help sell your products on TikTok. But I think that for other people, TikTok is coming forward. So again, if you're already developing a video strategy for YouTube, you could be able to actually sit in front of a camera and change the way you do it, because it's not going to be the same stuff, so you can't necessarily fully repurpose it, but you can also then start to think about how you create TikTok content. There are a lot more entrepreneurs on there creating content. If you've got a podcast, absolutely put snippets on there. That's a no-brainer. I think that also what I love about TikTok is now their live feature. We have become a TikTok partner agency at Knobs, where we are helping creators go live on TikTok. And the reason for this is because you can monetize. You can actually make money from going live on TikTok, which most people don't realize. And so we are helping creators do this because TikTok wants to have more genuine content, which is educational, and you could go live and actually be able to build up your audience, get instant feedback from your audience, and understand your customers a lot more and build up a community on TikTok live. And we are helping creators do that, which we love. So if you're interested in that, go to knobscreators.com and check it out and ask me if you have any questions. And the last platform that I want to cover is Pinterest, because I think that is underestimated, and I think that almost every single business can benefit from being on Pinterest. Like, I know that it's seen to be quite feminine. People go on there to like look at things like weddings and like, you know, house decor, and we use it for our branding and website inspiration, things like that. But I think that actually it does really, really well for all types of businesses. For example, if you are creating any blogs, why not create a blog post graphic and send it back to your website? YouTube videos, create a graphic, send it to your YouTube video. You can create great SEO from Pinterest because it's actually now used as a search engine. You can put all your results in there and send it back to people. So I think that it's underutilized massively, and you could get so many different email subscribers on Pinterest and actually build up a new following because people are there looking for something specifically in Pinterest. So actually you're capturing people's attention who actually want to find what you're producing, as opposed to other social media platforms who would just happen upon it and then maybe skip by. I think with Pinterest you can actually get some dedicated customers and loyal following because of the fact that you can get people who are ready to buy at that moment. So Pinterest is very, very underutilized, and I think that everyone can actually start to have a look at it. I know that certain industries will do really well, more the arts and crafty ones, like those who are, you know, doing gardening, house stuff, like all that kind of stuff, and then definitely like travel, fitness, food, all those ones do really, really well. But also fashion, and as I said, like business is doing well, design companies. So I think that there's something for everyone with Pinterest, and don't underestimate it. So there are a few other platforms that are coming up, and I said I won't cover them all, but like, for example, Threads was Meta's answer to Twitter, and I think that that's got really a benefit if you're already on Instagram, because you can basically transfer all your followers over and people get notified, so that's an interesting choice. But then there's Blue Sky, which I think, again, was created because of all the Twitter mess, and people like it because it's decentralized, so they feel like they've got a bit more control. But then there's Reddit, and I think that's super popular, but because you can't self-promote on there, it's a little bit difficult, but you can sort of search a subreddit and niche down and find your niche and then become a bit of a thought leader on there. So I quite like that. There's Discord as well, which is interesting as a platform, and people really love it, but I think it's more focused on gaming industry and that sort of stuff. But again, it's a good community vibe on there. And then I'd say Telegram's an interesting one, which people used to think is just a messaging app, and I think people like it because you don't need to have your phone number showing, so it's a bit like WhatsApp but without the phone number, so it's a bit more safe. And it's even like Stephen Bartlett's choice to where he's built his community. So these are all options as well. So there's lots of things out there. But what I do want to say is that even this video is probably really overwhelming for you, so definitely skip to the chapters that you want to hear about. You know, that's why I said it's very good to start slow, because I think that there's so much out there, and I think that lots of people who are experts in certain channels will always recommend their channel to you because they've got their own agenda to push. Remember that everyone is different and every business is different, so you've got to find what works for you and you alone. So I hope you found this useful, and if you have any questions, always just hit me up.